And now, WWE presents WWE Royal Rumble.
Alright, what is up, you guys? I am here with the Royal Rumble 2017 pay-per-view review. So, this was in the Alamo Dome, and the tagline was Remember the Rumble. You know, it was the 20th anniversary of the 97 Rumble, held in the same building. So it's kind of a cool atmosphere here. You have a bigger setup. You have this really long entrance ramp, which I was always a sucker for those. But the attendance, you know, normally it'd be around like 15-ish. We had 52,000, so good number of people. Well, that's the reported attendance, but so, you know, we had 3 pre-show matches. We had Naomi, Nikki Bella, and Becky Lynch defeating Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya. We had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus The Bar. And then we had Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. Really not too much to talk about in terms of, you know, the pre-show matches. And then the opening match, we had Charlotte versus Bayley for the Raw Women's title. This match kind of felt a little disappointing. A lot of people really were excited for this one, and it just fell kind of flat. It's not a bad match, but, you know, for the opening of this pay-per-view, I think it could have been better. We had Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, and then Chris Jericho was in the shark cage. The whole shark cage gimmick I was never a fan of, but for this one, having Chris Jericho in a shark cage, it feels like it kind of works. This match was actually surprisingly really good. This went 22 minutes and 55 seconds. Very hard-hitting match. It was no disqualification. You know, we involved chairs. You know, you had that spot with the stack of chairs. That was a brutal spot. And, you know, like I said, very hard-hitting match. It told a good story. You know, Chris Jericho got involved when it was necessary to get involved. So a great Universal Championship match. Then we had Neville versus Rich Swann for the Cruiserweight title. This went 14 minutes. It's a good singles match. I was never the biggest fan of Neville, but at this time he was really on top for the Cruiserweight division. And I was a huge fan of the Austin Aries match at WrestleMania. That's actually my favorite WrestleMania 33 match, was the Cruiserweight title match. So, and then we had John Cena versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. This went 24 minutes and 10 seconds. This was probably my favorite WWE match for 2017. This was absolutely phenomenal. You know, they had their series of matches in 2016, you know, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and when you found out they were having another match, it just, you know, not a lot of people were too excited for a rematch. And then this ended up being, to me, their best match. You know, you had a great 24-minute match, good pacing, good build-up. You had a great story of AJ Styles walking in as champion. You know, he held that title for a long time. You had John Cena chasing that Ric Flair record. You know, he was a 15-time champion here. And obviously, at the end of this match, he was 16-time. So tying that Ric Flair world title. And, you know, we had a lot of finishers in this match, but I felt like it was good. You had FU after FU. Yeah, I don't call it the AA. Fuck that. I call it the FU. You know, you had the Styles Clash, you had the 450, the Phenomenal Forearm, you had all these, you know, big power moves, you had kick out after kick out, to the point of you just didn't know when this match was going to end. And very unique ending here. We had, I think AJ Styles even kicked out of a super FU off the top rope. And, you know, we had the FU, and then he rolled him. He basically did a somersault, rolled him back up, and did another one. That was just really cool to see. And John Cena actually got the win there. So, just words cannot describe how awesome this match was, especially watching it live. And then we had our Royal Rumble match. This Rumble was very different because we actually had a lot of big name stars entering. You had Goldberg, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. So there was a lot of really good kind of star power and a good way to sell this match. The first two, we had Big Cass and Chris Jericho. And then we kind of had just some, kind of your normal Royal Rumble pacing. You just have some kind of filler entrance like Kalisto, Mojo Rawley, Jack Gallagher. And then we had kind of the more bigger guys. We had Mark Henry, Braun Strowman, Big Show. Ty Dillinger came in, or Dillinger, I don't know. I think it's Dillinger. Came out at number 10, of course. And he was the only NXT guy, surprisingly. And, this was back during the second brand split. So, you had your Raw and SmackDown, and you actually had a strict Raw and SmackDown roster. So, there weren't any actual, big surprise entrants or legends or anything. A lot of people were expecting Kurt Angle to come out at number 30, which we'll get to number 30. But, yeah, no big surprise entrance, but I felt like you kind of really didn't need them in this one. We had star power, we had great mid-carders in here, and they really just meshed well together. And, we had, of course, Randy Orton coming in at 23, and then we had Brock Lesnar at 26, Goldberg at 28, Taker at 29. Here's the thing. They try to sell this to you that these numbers are randomly drawn. Obviously, they saved their big entrance for last, which a lot of people were just... It's something to laugh at, if it's random entrance, but then all the stars come out at the very end. It's stage wrestling, people. I get that people were complaining, but to me, it's just something to laugh at. We all know wrestling isn't reality. And then number 30, we saw Roman Reigns. Crowd goes absolutely nuts. They're all pissed off. Which, they were expecting Kurt Angle. Or even The Rock, maybe. So a lot of people were disappointed that Roman was out here at number 30. And it was kind of Vince McMahon trolling you. The real reason Roman Reigns came out was because he wanted Randy Orton to look better winning. He wanted there to be a good crowd reaction to Randy Orton. Because obviously Randy Orton, he already won the Rumble in 2009. He's not the most exciting winner. So put Roman Reigns out there. It makes Randy Orton look like an exciting winner. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they were against Roman for the final three. Bray Wyatt gets eliminated. And then we have an RKO to Roman Reigns, and then he gets thrown out by Orton. This one went 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 6 seconds. So it's kind of on the longer side for a Rumble match. It's usually around 102. It's kind of the average. But overall, I thought this was a fun Rumble. You had, like I said, the star power. You had the shock of Brock Lesnar being eliminated by Goldberg. You had the tease with Goldberg and Taker, which, of course, now we know where that went. But, yeah. They were setting up Rumble, or WrestleMania matches. Roman, of course, eliminated Taker, which the crowd loved that one, too. But an overall letter grade for this show. This was my favorite pay-per-view of 2017. And I think it's one of the better Rumbles we've had leading up to 2017. 2018 was phenomenal. So, 17 and 18, even 16 was pretty good. 16, 17, and 18 were 3 really good Rumbles back to back to back. So I'm going to give this one an A-. You had 2 really strong world title matches. The opener could have been a lot better. You have a good cruiserweight match and a pretty good Rumble. It's not the best Rumble of all time, but, it felt important, which is what a Royal Rumble should feel. It's not like 2012 or anything that just feels like trash and just a bunch of mid-carders. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, this is one of my favorite Rumbles. So definitely let me know your thoughts down below. For now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.